And she came to Kickstartology with having filmed a documentary and just feeling like, oh, I just got to edit it. It's not happening. Like one giant to-do list of things she felt she had to do. And in her time in Kickstartology, she used the program to really transform her attitude towards what she had to do and create this beautiful film that has now won awards. She's on her way to the airport to show it in New York City at a big documentary festival, and bought her first condo, like so many wins. And so, yes, welcome, Emily.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
So what should I talk about?
It's nice to see you.
Yeah. I would love for you to just reflect on who you were when we had our first conversation about coaching, and what would have happened if I had told you, hey, a year from now, this is going to be your life. That would amuse me to hear.
I think I just felt so stuck, and so a lot of my avoiding working on my film was anxiety related, and I think it was to do with procrastination for because if it's not going to be perfect, I'm too anxious to even try. So it became a thing that I dreaded. Whereas originally when I filmed it in 2018, it was something that, it was a passion project. So that's sort of where I was when I came into it. And then also I remember being on a call with you, Stephanie, and I was talking about one day I want to buy real estate, maybe I'm going to look at pre-construction, and I'm trying to save up right now, 5 years, maybe I'll be ready. And then things just worked out, and I ended up getting one within a few months.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, you started thinking about it differently. Wait, why might I be ready?
Or just different ways that it would be possible. Looking for other options, I guess. Yeah.
And you also did. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, you also did stand up, which is not.
Oh yeah, I did a stand up class, and now I do stand up sometimes.
I wrote people into that. My stand up teacher was in the program, and I started doing that regularly because look, I push women out of their comfort zone all the time, so I better terrify myself on a regular basis. Mission accomplished.
I also did stand up in Berlin this summer when I was in Berlin.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. Not a lot of Germans in the audience, which was probably for the best.
Now, I want to ask about one thing specifically. Remember how, and just tie it to yesterday. Remember yesterday, I was like, so imagine what it would be like to achieve something that feels out of reach, or an audacious goal. What would that be? And for Emily, I remember talking to you, and you just kept procrastinating your editing, and it was like the bane of your existence. And you were trying to focus on, I need to stop procrastinating. And I was pushing you to say, well, focus on the results you want. Can you imagine your film is done and you're thrilled with it? And you started there, and then you went off on your own, and you kind of imagined winning an award for it to get you more inspired to finish it, and then go from there, because that's how out of reach it seemed at the time.
Yeah, I did. I was just I just want to get it done and have it out in the world and move on to the next thing. But I also secretly was I would like to win an award, even though that's an ego thing. I was that would be nice. And then this summer, it was nominated for an award at the Regina International Film Festival, and that was all online. So it wasn't the award experience I imagined, but I was also still shocked and really surprised. And then it got into this big festival in New York, which is where I'm going right after this, which is Doc NYC, which is kind of like Hot Docs in New York. And I ended up, that one's kind of a big deal. And yeah, I never would have imagined that one. And also, this week, you guys, so tomorrow the festival starts. Thursday, I'm meeting with the Canadian consulate in the US, the cultural affairs person for drinks. And then Friday, I'm going to a Netflix party Co-presented by Netflix. And then Sunday's my premiere, my US premiere.
Oh my
And then we're
God.
gonna have a Q&A. Yeah, I'm very surprised how it all came together.
That's so exciting.
The other thing you did, and you really started doing this more and more, and it thrills, you know how thrilled I get about this, is you started saying essentially like, this is scary, but I'm going to get curious and see what happens instead of getting in your own head and constantly going to the worst case scenario, which, by the way, I work with all these artistic types and storytellers. So you guys are all really good at coming up with great stories about how terrible things could be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think like I was avoiding it, and then I was like not even seeing what kind of footage was there. Like I was just getting overwhelmed by how much things there were to do, and just like and kind of avoiding seeing what was actually there made it seem scarier. But as soon as I started like, okay, I'm just gonna look at this part of the footage and like just watch it, and then the more I would like engage with it, even in small bits, the more I came back to the passion of it and wanted to work on it. So yeah, I think it was just like, it was almost like exposure therapy for editors. Yeah.
Getting reconnected to your vision.
Yeah.
It's easy to lose track of our vision and our long-term desires, again, when we're stuck in the weeds. And with Kickstartology, we're always bringing together the macro and the micro together to help drive our decisions in the moment, which is why we don't rely solely on motivation. You've certainly made that work for you.
Yes. And yeah, now I do have that tendency, like I can feel it in other things, but I try to get away from them, like, oh, it's not going to be perfect. And I'm like, okay, no, done is better than perfect, or trying is better than perfect. So I just try and acknowledge that's just a tendency I have, and try to find ways to work around it.
What would you say? I mean, like you've been quite active in our community, and you've built a lot of relationships in your time with others. Like, can you talk about that a bit? Because I think there may be some people who are apprehensive about joining a group. I think you would identify somewhat introverted at times or shy, but you really pushed yourself in that way. Can you speak to that a bit?
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure about the group, I'll be honest.
So many people are like that. That's so normal.
But and also because like most people are women, I think I have like, an inferiority complex, or like feeling like, oh no, they were mistaken. Like I still kind of feel like I'm gonna get to New York and they're like, oh, there's been a big misunderstanding. We don't have a festival pass for you. Like your film's not in this one. So when I first joined the group, I remember being like, oh my God, this lady is like a surgeon, and this one's like head of this big organization. Like, but then they were having the same feelings that I was having about like anxiety about if they're competent enough, or if they're good enough at their job, or all kinds of things that I felt I could see that they were feeling. And I could so clearly see that they were like highly successful and competent people. And so that kind of gave me validation. People that I felt like were actually smart felt like that. And then also, like I've gotten to know a lot of people. Like some people I've developed friendships with, like Precious. I'm working on a film with Precious now, and I would say Precious is a friend. I shot her photos recently for her new comedy album. I do photography. I took Kate's photos too. And then Lisa, and I don't know, like tons of people I feel very close to now. And I kind of like, if I don't go to Nadine or Stephanie, I would go to some of them for advice or support, or also they just kind of get the whole framework now. That does sound very culty, but I nearly got into a fight with my friends recently because we were out for tea, and I won't bore you with all the details, but basically one of my friends has a new baby, and they're like really trying to pay down their mortgage. Like her husband's very into like putting all their money towards their mortgage, and then she was like, I just really like, I hate cleaning and blah blah blah. And I was like, why don't you just hire a cleaning person, like or something. And she's like, no, I can't, we don't have the budget. I have to clean. And I was like, well, it's a choice. And she's like, no, I have to. And I was like, well, no, but it's a choice. Like, you're choosing to pay the mortgage. That's the choice. And she's like, no, I have to clean. I don't have a choice. And then somebody else started thinking that I was being like, you're making the wrong choice. And like, it became this big thing. And I was like, I'm not saying she's making a good choice or a bad choice. It's just a choice. And, but then I don't know. And then I was like, you know what, forget it.
You don't lose friends
So,
doing the program, just to be clear.
I do. No, I'm joking. No, but also like there is a thing of like reevaluating some relationship, not necessarily your friends or whatever, but being like, does this person serve me? Because another issue I had was like a family person who was like very destructive in my life, and just deciding like that relationship doesn't serve me and distancing it, and like having clear boundaries about what's good for me has allowed me also to focus my energy on things that are healthy for me, productive for me. I think that's also why I've been able to work more on my film and my career, because I'm not putting as much energy to things that are not healthy or like not helpful to me.
That's awesome. That's a perfect place to end. It's November, as we've been saying in the group this season. So good for you for setting those healthy boundaries.